everybody. Jigs and friggin' Bigs. It's Bobby Roast Beef here. I got Who the Fuck is Joe Brown with us. It is a brand new week. It is going to be amazing. We got a few jig heads in the house. Man, we have new patrons, new jig heads to the family. I mean, it's been a really, really good time. We got some fishy shit to talk about for sure. We've got some headlines. We got some tips for you, as well as an FTG that comes out locally and is just heart-wrenching to put it as bluntly as I possibly can. Guys, there's so much to talk about. I'm telling you, I've had the best burger I've had in my life. We'll go ahead and talk about that too in our week in review. You guys are not going to want to worry, not going to want to miss out on a single thing. Let's just say that strange shit has come to light. We will see you guys in just a bit. We got Jigs and freaking Bigs starting up right after this. Nobody can stumble through a show intro like Bobby Roast Beef can stumble through a show intro.
Nobody does it.
Nobody does it. Nobody does it better. Joe, I have been looking forward to recording this show since Saturday night. After like the event, actually when I dropped that video, I was like, this is going to be a good show. And then I got this week's FTG and I was just like, man, that is insane. I wanted to get on here even more. So we'll cross that bridge when we cross that bridge. Let's do what segment one is all about. Let's actually, before we even dive into our weeks, I fail often to do this and think that this could be somebody's very first episode of Jigs and Bigs that they're tuning into. You know, I always forget that there's the possibility that somebody, you know what I mean? Like not everybody, and it amazes me the people that do want to go all the way back to the earlier segments and kind of catch up.
Sure.
But you don't have to do that. So let's get this started the right way. Folks, if you're new here, this is Jigs and Bigs, a primarily audio format platform podcast hosted by myself, Bobby Roast Beef, and the one and only Joe Brown, American Vet Fishing on YouTube and on all socials, actually. We talk fishing, and it's more than just a bass fishing show. It's a little bit more inclusive. We're based here in the northeast part of the country, New England, Massachusetts specifically. We talk a lot about that stuff, but we like to travel. We like to kind of push the envelope a bit. We do. We're into tournaments. We host tournaments here, so there's a little something for everybody. If you like the show, feel free to dive into some of our back episodes. Make sure to leave us a comment on Spotify if you're listening over there, or a rating and review over on Apple Podcasts as well. That really helps out the show a bunch. You can check out jigsandbigs.com, and we want to welcome our jig heads. You'll hear us refer to them quite a bit. Our jig heads are our little family that we've got, this community of extended Jigs and Bigs listeners and friends that subscribe over on Patreon so that they can be part of the recording process here in a live stream platform. So you'll hear us refer to some of them. Let's go ahead and welcome some now. We got Todd Sefton in the house. Todd says tonight he is playing supervisor at work, so no drinks for him. Earlier we were discussing what we're enjoying for a little libation. And then John Hagens is with us. He's in the comments as well, and he says Wild Turkey 101 for him tonight. And then he says, no one says you can't have a bottle of gin. I mean Sprite, Todd. Oh, wow. That's great. That's very true. Excellent advice. Sage advice, actually. Welcome, everybody. I hope you enjoy the show. It is an amazing time of year here for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's spring. You know, if you're from the Northeast over here, you got to battle ice all the time. Joe, your entire life, you remember, like, winter was, you know, unless you were into ice fishing, you waited for this time of year for months. Sure. And we're here, and things are happening, and it's finally starting to get fishy, which is great. And the other thing that's interesting is that this time of year, we celebrate an anniversary at Jigs and Bigs. And we are only, a little over a week away from the 5-year anniversary of Jigs and Bigs.
How crazy.
Unbelievable. We've been doing this for 5 years. The show has changed a bunch, but I think we landed. And every time that it's been changing, I think it's been always for the better, and it's been improving and getting slicker and just delivering on all counts. It's awesome. So we couldn't do it without you guys. We love you. Thank you very much. Let's dive into some fishy conversation, my friend. And I want to start actually, Joe, with your week.
Let's do it.
Let's go for it. Let's dive in because this was your first outing this week, right?
This was my first outing of the year in my boat. Can't count the CUDA fishing down in Florida, down in Key West. That was just a little fun, fun adventure. Yeah. Little appetizer. But yeah, dude, I have a tournament next weekend. First one of the season. Mm-hmm. So I figured I'd go pre-fish. Had to go pre-fish. Got to practice.
Of course. Work the kinks out. Try out some new stuff.
Oh, excuse me. Oh, I just had to take the gas X before it came on. Anyway, got the burpees. So yeah, dude. So I did that, and this is a body of water that I have done well at, like within the top 5, and I've also done bad at, like the bottom 5. You know what I mean? So
that's a little bit of a mind fuck when you're getting into it,
dude. It so much, and then it made it more of a mind fuck after the outing. But so I hook up the boat. I got the boats all ready. I hook it up, dude. I take off. It's like 27 degrees at my house when I leave. It was giving me PTSD of when Zach and I up on the St. Lawrence River, where had that 45-minute send up north on the river in 28-degree weather. But so luckily, I head out east. This is down 495, just short of the Cape. You were in the Cape. I was just before the Cape. By the time I got there, it was probably like 38 degrees, right? So I park and I just kind of, I did a little bit of, everything's, I'm editing the YouTube video right now. Mm-hmm. Everything's recorded for YouTube, and so hopefully that'll drop Friday. But so, dude, it was one of those things where I just kind of sat there for a second, the truck, when I pulled up, before I even got out and set up the boat. And I was just like, it's here. The season's here.
Isn't it? It's a great feeling.
You know what I mean? Yep. It was just like, I just took it in for a second.
Yeah.
And so I get out, I rig up the boat, whatever. Or I get the boat all set. I splash her. This ramp sucks. It's like, there's like nowhere to put your boat. There's no dock or anything. Mm-hmm. You can't really beach it too much, so I had to like bring my muck boots to make sure, because I knew I was going to be walking in water. So I do that. It's cold. It's still cold. I had like I had brought my cold weather gear. Yep. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Oh yeah.
But I hadn't put it on yet. And before. So
what time did you launch?
So I didn't launch until like 9 o'clock.
Oh, okay. So we were actually even later than you. All right.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I launched about 9 o'clock. So I get out, I get the boat ready. I realized, I'm like, all right, it's chilly. Let me put my bibs and my jacket on. I grabbed them out of the truck, and I immediately regretted getting Jeremiah the same bibs and jacket that I have.
Because you had his stuff.
Because I had his stuff. I did not have my stuff. So that's how it started. So I now have, I hold up the jacket and I'm like, uh-oh. Thank God I always have a rain jacket in my truck.
Okay, that's good.
So I at least had that, and I had sweatpants and my muck boots. So I was good. Like I had the rain jacket to block the wind, but I would have been better if I had my shit. So
I didn't realize that. That makes this an interesting trip.
So that was the first fail. You know what I mean? Launch the boat, and it's crazy. And Bobby, I know for a fact you felt this. Launch the boat. It's still on the trailer. I take mine off the trailer. I start fire it up. I back it off the trailer. When I'm sitting in it, I'm like, I go to turn the key, and for some reason I'm like, oh God, I hope it starts.
Yeah, dude, exactly.
You don't know.
100%.
I don't know. It's a brand new boat. Like I did everything I was supposed to. Like batteries all charged up, and for some reason I'm like, oh fuck, I hope she starts. She fired right up. The Merc, fired right up. I get it off. power pull it down, lock it in, walk in the water to fucking go park my truck. So I do that. I hop in and I started taking it slow and I just start scanning, dude. I just start side scanning. It was nothing crazy. I just wanted to look for a structure that I hadn't discovered in the past there.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, I didn't find any that I didn't know was already there.
But now you're confirmed, you know?
Yeah, exactly. It was just like that. I was looking for that one stump, you know what I mean? One stump, one whatever, one big rock that I didn't know about. But so I'm like, all right, I'm not finding shit doing this. Let me throw a couple lines in the water. So first off, I was dealing with, and you were too, Bobby, crazy wind, like sustained, like 20, 25 mile with gusts of probably, 35, 40 miles an hour. On this lake, there was really nowhere to get out of it. Really, there was one spot. And, but dude, I was dealing with like 2-3 footers out there. I mean, that's nuts. We had one little window that was like that, but go ahead. Yeah, dude, it was like that the entire time, to the point where like I was spot locking on stuff to like look at it with the live scope, but I wasn't even gonna bother trying to like throw into the wind or anything. So I was just basically just scoping to see if I saw any fish, and I did see a couple in a couple spots. So I was like, okay, I'm not gonna blow this spot up, but like they're here, they're probably still gonna be here next week, so we're good there. So I get to a spot, I find a little spot where it's a little bit more calm, and it's like a secondary point. And I was like, all right, let me check this out. So I throw on a jerk bait, tossing the jerk bait for a little bit. I was throwing a full size, like 110 size jerk bait. It wasn't really, I was seeing stuff chasing, following on live scope, but nothing was committing, even when I was, going slow. And so I downsized to a 90. So it was a 90 size. It was a Vision Junior, like the Mega Bass Junior jerk baits.
I gotta get some of those.
Dude, they're awesome. I only have one, dude. I only have one of the juniors. Oh, wow. I have 1 million of the 110s, the plus ones, plus twos, one junior, and this thing's been getting annihilated the last couple of years. But so I toss that, I hook it, and dude, it was maybe the second cast after I got that one. I hook in immediately. There's no jumping or anything, so I knew it was a fucking dart. Like right off the rip, and it was a dart, and I was like, fuck. So I don't. It's funny, you'll see it in the video. Like my hands were already cold. I didn't have any of my shit, so I didn't want to touch it and get all slimy and after stuff. So I'm just like holding it on the side of the boat, trying to get it out with the hook. And so I get it out. I'm like, okay. I was like, well, these are here. Chances are there's going to be some bass in here. The predatory fish tend to kind of stick together in aspects. So I was like, I'm not going to keep fishing this spot. It's going to be on my list. It's not going to be at the top of my list, but I'll check this spot out during the tournament. So I go to another spot. So I tried a couple other spots, nothing. I had a couple follows, whatever, but I was pre-fishing, so I wasn't trying to hook everything.
Yeah.
So I go to another spot. It was a secondary point that kind of runs. It comes out. Then it kind of runs a shoreline to where it goes back in a little bit and then comes to like another secondary point. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna run this whole line and just kind of look at it. And I see some stuff up next to some timber, and I'm like, all right, let me toss in there. So I toss that same jerk bait in there. Like second cast, I hook up again. And I'm like, okay, all right, feels a little better. Dude, it was such a slab of a crappie.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, dude. Like, which was weird because they were. So I ended up. So I was like, oh, there's a bunch of like. I'm looking like, oh, it's a bunch of crappie in there. So I started to throw in there, catching it's still fun to catch. You know what I mean? And they were huge, but it was just strange because they were sitting in like 3 feet of water. Like they were up on shore, dude. That's
crazy.
Hanging on this down tree. So I caught a few of those, had fun catching those, ran that shoreline a little bit more, caught a couple more darts. And did a bunch of just did a bunch more scanning, stop in certain spots, look at the live scope. I'm like, all right, see some fish here, pack it, do it, get up, and next spot. So, dude, the wind got so bad. It was like, oh my God, I'm just getting beat up. I'm getting wet. Like I had my sweatpants were getting soaked because I didn't have my bibs because the water just kept splashing over. But no bass. I didn't hook into any bass.
Oh, all right.
I didn't really try. I wasn't really trying. I mean, when I knew those crappie were there, I was like, all right, I'm gonna catch those for a minute.
Oh,
but other than that, I didn't hook into a bass. I know I spotted a few. It's weird, dude. They're like kind of like still deeper than I expected them to be. Not that this place is deep, but
yeah.
So we'll give that a shot. Did that. There's probably like 6 or 7 boats out there. I don't know if they're pre-fishing for the tournament, if they're out there just fun fishing or whatever. Loaded her back up, no issues there. Got her home, and that was it. That was it for the fishing, dude. That was it. But it was a great, first time out. Just kind of get back in the swing of things, remembering how everything runs, operates, all that. Everything was, knock on wood. Everything worked awesome.
That's awesome.
And yeah, dude, just getting ready for the tourney.
That's going to be badass, dude. That's going to be awesome. And it's great, dude. Your first day out, you managed to catch them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's great, even if they're the wrong fish, it's like just catching your first handful of fish, the first, not even the first outing out, but like whenever you catch them, it's just like, you're like, all right, it's game on. Let's go ahead and do this.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a blast. I had a good time.
That's awesome, dude. I had, my week was nuts, man. I was working my ass off. I actually, on Friday, had an event that I worked at the Boxborough Regency for the Acton Boxborough Rotary. I did their
such a weird place, that place.
Oh, it really is. It
such
really
a weird
is.
setup.
And the staff over there is amazing. Like they're always so good when I'm in there. This is my second time doing this event for them, and we have a good time.
Okay.
It was an absolute blast. And the entire time I'm there, I'm just like,
I'm going fucking fishing tomorrow. I got to get home and go to bed.
I had a plan. You know what I mean? I had a plan. And I put that plan into effort. I got home, and as soon as I got home, I was like, I'm going to bed, set my alarm. Everything's good. I woke up before my alarm. And it was only a few days before I had gotten in touch with Paul, and he had confirmed that he was available on Saturday to go. I was like, beautiful, let's fucking go and do this. Little did I know that his night was a little bit different. So he had plans Saturday night, and he's like, we're going to the Cape? And I was like, yeah. He goes, what time do you think we'll be back? I was like, it's going to be an all-day thing. I go, and put it this way, if we get on fish, then we're not going to want to leave.
We're staying on them.
I was like, and if we don't get on fish, we're going to want to keep going until we can't,
Right.
So I was like, we're going to go ahead and send it. I go, I generally have a rule. I go, I look at the amount of distance there and back, or the amount of time it would take me to drive there and back. And then I have to be out there for at least that total time. So that's reasonable. It took us just over 2 hours to get there. I was like, so realistically, if we get there at 9 o'clock, I go, we'll stay for 5 hours, and then I'm sure we're going to grab something to eat while we're out there. This will come into play later. And so what he did was he was like, you know what? He goes, I'm going to change my plans with my buddy, and we're going to go out Friday. He didn't get home until like almost 3 a.m. And he was up, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, ready to fish. Ooh. I went to go pick him up, and he was no problem. That was absolutely
he looked.
badass.
He didn't look tired in the video.
No, not at all.
I wouldn't have spotted it.
Not at all. And we had a blast. So I mean, Paul and I, we go way, way back. And this, like, when we fish, it's like it's a different kind. Like when you and I fish, Joe, or I fish with any of the listeners or anything like that. we're out there, we're catching fish. This is a slew of ridiculous, like fucking inside jokes, like all kinds of shit, everything. So we get there, and again, we had wind in the same kind of situation. We got there, and by the time we were in the water, it was just after 10 o'clock. So, we made pretty decent time there, got everything rigged up, dropped the boat in the water. So we got about an hour after you. And even John Hagan says the wind's been ridiculous off and on here in the last few weeks. And, but on the Cape, I kind of expected a little bit more, just because
I wish I went where you were.
I kind of expect it wasn't as bad, I think, Joe, as what you had in the main, like right around like 2 p.m. It was nuts. Like it was to the point where I would say I was looking for a ledge and I would find that ledge and I would drop and do spot lock. But like my 55-pound thrust motor was like, help. In fact, when I would go to motor off, what I would do is I would leave the boat in spot lock, go and start the big motor, and then just go up to it, close up my seat and everything, and then just run back to the fucking captain's chair and take off from there. It was crazy. Like, and we had to kind of throw a lot at him a little bit. One of the things that happened this week was my Dark Horse tackle box arrived. Now, did you get yours? Did you open it?
I have not
opened
it yet.
All right.
Only because Josh and Zach, don't judge me on this.
Gotcha. Fair.
I want to do a no bullshit unboxing video.
That's perfect.
Yep. And I want it to be a legitimate, not like, I'm just opening it when I have already opened it.
You want to do a legit? So should I talk about one of the things that I used from that box, or should I refrain?
Let's talk about it next week.
Next week? Okay.
Yeah, let's talk about it next week.
I'm just going to drop this, that there is a bait from Somatis in that box. That, nice.
Go ahead. I already know that one. So you can talk about that.
Okay.
I already knew that one.
All right. So this is a swim bait from Somatis. And the color that I got was like a shad-based color with a darker back. And the nice thing is, this is a swim bait that's got that flat back to it. It's really just a straight line all the way back. Great action. It's unbelievable, and it's a little dark. I would say like some of the other colors, like I would say like a Tennessee shad is what I would compare it to. And the thing is, with the body of water that I'm fishing, there's a herring run in here. So you have blueback herring that come along all the time. So what does Bobby Roast Beef do? He rigs his Bass Dope Baby A-Rig with 3 of those, and I took my blue Spike It marker and I put a nice little back on there, custom. So I had thrown it first without it, and then I was like, okay, we'll try it and see if maybe this is a bit more, what they're looking for, because water conditions were pretty clear. The visibility was pretty good. We had, like I said, the wind, which was kind of nuts, and we had very, very sparse clouds for most of the early part of this spot, or this trip. So I'm like, this is good. We're going to go ahead. We're going to send it. We'll see what happens. I threw that thing all over the place, man. In a spot where I was like, if we're going to find some fish, they have the things that I think we need here. They have a food source. There's access to deep water. There's a large enough like flat area. But what I realized was what would happen later in the day, we needed to just fish the other way, fish off of that ledge and come up. That's how I managed to find all my fish. Instead of fishing the flat so much, thinking that that's where that warmer water was, and they would, kind of group up in there, I think maybe the clarity is kind of what maybe kept them away from it. So I said, we fished our way around a few spots, and the wind was starting to pick up. It was pretty crazy. Big shout out to Paul, the boy. Couple of things. So I realized he didn't bring any muck boots, so I was going to put him in the boat, and he was going to motor off and come back.
Yeah.
He also, and I want to say this right from the rip, he loaded the boat back up. His first time ever doing it. And he did a fucking bang-up job. He did a bang-up job.
Good job,
Paul. So we're out. We're looking for fish. And I set a marker in my mind. I was like, this is enough where we're going to kind of commit to this bank line. We'll follow it up to I think it was a dock or a point. And I said, we'll go up to there. And if we don't get bit, I said, we'll play around with a couple of different ideas. And what we ended up doing was we figured to kind of not so much avoid the wind, but to sample and see what we could come up with. We'd go into some of the coves where the wind was, where they were a little bit more sheltered, and we had some wind, but it was nothing like what we were dealing with on the open lake. So I get out there, and I'm throwing. The main things I was going through was the baby A-rig, the Martin's downsized spinnerbait. Right.
Yep.
That thing is absolutely badass. What else did I throw? I threw something else. Both of which have blades, but the size profile is quite a bit different.
Sure.
And there was something else in there too. Was it an inline spinner? No, it wasn't an inline spinner. Oh, and I had a finesse swim bait. That's what it was. But the finesse swim bait, what was unique about that was a totally different color wave. This was more of like a natural, like a green pumpkin kind of perchy sort of look. And we're in this one cove, and there's this beautiful house on this point, and they have like their own boat ramp that like right off there, and it comes out, and there's a nice drop off right past it, so I could totally see like the reason why they would utilize that.
Yeah,
I caught my first fish of 2025 right there, and just like you, Joe, it was a pickerel. I was like, okay, this is cool. You know, we'll go ahead and release this. I'm like, it is what it is. I'm like, we're all good. We fish around this cove, and I hooked into one more, a larger pickerel, and which was awesome. We're great. And we get back out to the main lake. We fish a little bit there. We, again, cannot buy a bite. So we fish all the way down to the corner where the last time I was at this lake, I had some action as well, where I had that big follow. And I was like, we'll go in there. We'll see what happens. And when we were over there, that was when the wind was like at its worst. And there was just no bites to be had anywhere. There were some spots we fished them really, really deep. We had like access to like 30 foot of water, and then it got pretty shallow up by the banks. So we really kind of covered a lot. And that's where I started to kind of change things up a little bit and throw more subtle presentations. I even drop shot it down in that way, just vertical, like in some of the deeper stuff. Yeah. And I was like, we'll see what happens if maybe this is the move. Now I caught, again, two fish being a pattern. I had abandoned that previous like white pattern. I was now focusing more on green pumpkin and perchy type colors. And I was like, you know what? They hit on this swim bait. I had it locked in my hand, aside from trying to drop shot that super deep water. I said, you know what? Let's just go back down the way that we came and hit some of those other coves that we had passed up initially. And I think it was the second one we landed in. I landed my first smallie of 2025.
Hell yeah.
Which was awesome. Small one, like a little 16-incher, fought like a son of a bitch on that same pattern. Now, at this point, like Paul, when he brought his gear, he brought 4 casting rods. And all of them, I would say, probably no lighter than a medium heavy. Most of them medium heavies to heavies. Yep. And so they're biting on this 3-inch swim bait on an 1/8 ounce head. And I'm like, all right. So I was like, let's try this. So I said, I don't know if it's the color. I don't know if it's the size profile. I don't know anyway. So what we did was we took one size up on a 1/4 ounce head with a 1/2 inch larger swim bait in the same color pattern with the same spike it stuff that I was using on my bait to give it a specific look. And Paul wasn't getting bit at all. So then once I caught this smallie, that was the next fish when we started doing this, fishing like these baits back and forth. It was that moment where I was like, you know what, dude? I go, take this combo. I gave him one of my spinning rods, and I put the same exact bait on there. And I said, now that we have this, let's see if we can get caught up. He got his first bite of the day on that.
Okay.
So I'm like, now this is kind of starting to settle in. So maybe but at least the size we can dial in is like, this is something in that 3-inch like a profile is going to be most effective. So we're doing our thing. I get smoked on this last freaking bit. I get smoked. Now, I should say, when I caught that smallie, I was releasing that fish, and I'm taking a look at my bait. That what was it? That Smalley tore up my Kitech so badly, like right up at the head, because I had it on a screw lock jig head. Torn up, so I had to take it off and change it out with another one. I'm changing it out, and I noticed that there's a little fray in my line, in my leader, which this is on my BFS combo. This is a 4-pound fluoro leader. There's a little bit of a rough spot, and I'm like, I just put this thing. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
It was not fine.
I got slammed a few casts afterwards, but I got absolutely wrecked on one of these casts. And this fish, I set the hook in, and I'm like, holy shit, that's a big one. And right before I started to be able to reel into it, the line just fucking let go. And I'm like, you motherfucker. So I had enough of my leader there, and I know that's the thing. I know it was that, Nick, because it's not like it broke my leader like at the knot or anything like that. It broke at that length. Like that's where it was. I was like, son of a bitch. That's exactly it. So I retied another setup and let it go, and it was not to be. So we made our 5-hour quota. We had gone probably about like another 45 minutes or so without a bite, after retying. And we decided, we're like, you know what, man, let's go ahead. We'll send it to this spot and grab some lunch. And it was about 3 or 3:15. So we head back over to the ramp. We actually talked to some dudes that were out while we were there. And they, same thing. They were just like, yeah, they're like, we really kind of had to go and get out of the wind in order to be able to get a bite. Like there was just nothing we were finding in the main lake. So we go on, load up the boat. Everything's cool. We take off and we go to this spot. And I know I mentioned it before. JD's Burger Company and Sushi. Dude, I'm a believer, 100%.
I got to go there, man. That's
I am talking it up big time.
And I got to see it. I got to see it. So everyone, don't forget that everything Bobby's talking about right now was recorded and done on his YouTube video that he just dropped. So you can see this live action.
You can go and see all of this
not only
stuff.
the fishing, the food live action. My mouth was watering as I was watching the end of this video.
We roll into this spot and I am giddy because the last time I was there, we just had sushi. I had something called the something tide roll, a sushi roll. We're like, let's warm up with a sushi roll. So we each ordered like a specialty one. And it was absolutely out of this world. I was so hungry. I didn't record any of that. None of it. I was just like chopsticks in hand, cheeks out to here, just like, I was so freaking hungry. And, Paul and I were like, yeah, we'll do that. We'll each order a roll and then we'll order a burger. And they had a burger that was just speaking my language. And I have to say that this burger goes down as the best burger I've ever had in my life. And there was nothing crazy about it. Yeah.
Wow.
It was called, I think, the Nitro Burger. And it was no, I think you're right. Inferno. That's what it was. The Inferno Burger.
See, because I watched the video. Everybody, if you guys go watch the video,
I made a point to record the menu so I could remember what this stuff was. So the Inferno Burger is just a burger on your choice of bun, of roll, brioche or pretzel. And the toppings that are on there, like you put peppers on anything, hot chilies or otherwise, and in a variety, so it's a unique experience. I'm in. It was jalapenos, right? Roasted red peppers and pepperoncinis. With pepper jack cheese. There wasn't a condiment on this burger. Like the peppers were the condiment. This was out of this world.
Did you have to put any ketchup or anything on it?
No, I didn't do a damn thing.
Perfect.
Right to the face. Best. I was like, dude, there was, unbelievable. And then, as the server comes back over, she's like, do you guys want to take a look at the dessert menu or anything like that? We have milkshakes. And Paul and I at the same time were like, huh? Milkshakes, you say?
I'm a sucker for a milkshake, Bobby.
Why not? You know what I'm saying? So she's like reading off. We're like, can we get them to go? Because we both like didn't want to be out there. Because that's the thing about the Cape. Like, I'm not good at having a gauge of when the traffic gets really bad. Because you coming back, it could take you like 5 hours to get home. instead of the 2+ that it normally does. It can be bad.
So that $4.95 Pike interchange that gets you, dude.
All the time.
And with the construction right now.
The construction. And then even, I find that it gets choked up too on 84. It totally does.
Oh, I don't have to hit 84. I get off in Auburn. I get off in Auburn. I go down Route 9. Yeah.
I see what you're doing. Yeah. No, that's the move there. Yeah, you go to 84 and it's ridiculous. You'll be in there. And I'm going all the way down to 91. So I'm like, this is bananas. So I go, this is some of the Massachusetts shit, by the way, new listeners. Like, this is the thing. We'll go on a tangent that you guys will be like, what the fuck are these guys talking about? But that's the mass hole in us coming out for you. That's what gives us our charm,
Yep.
So we take these milkshakes to go. I went with coffee shake, Ooh. Oh yeah, I love a coffee milkshake. Oh my God, I like coffee anything.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm not a big coffee ice cream person.
No?
I love coffee. But coffee ice cream, I can do it. It's just not my go-to.
You're 40 now. Yeah.
All of a sudden I like it.
Might be.
I haven't tried it since I've been 40, so I better try it. I also like Werther's Originals now. But
need them.
Yeah, Meg loves coffee ice cream. So
oh yeah. No, and this was it. I'm telling you, this is awesome, and it's nice because, I wouldn't say this on the podcast. Like, oh yeah, everybody go take your boat. There's parking all over the place. It's tricky. Like, it is quite possible that if it was really busy when we went, that I wouldn't be able to park with the boat.
Sure.
And my boat's also 16 and a half feet long. It's not like you're like the Icon.
Would I have a tough time between my truck and my boat?
I think what you would want to do is make sure you wouldn't be able to park in the lot, but around the perimeter on some sides, there's no parking signs. There are some where they're like no parking here and I think that's got to do more with like blocking a dumpster.
Gotcha.
I think, but on the outskirts, there's plenty of spots where you could. So it's very possible you'd be all right. I would say if you're staying away from like peak hours, you're probably good to go. First time I was there with Eric. It was peak hours. It was a little insane. But yeah, I mean, Paul and I are just like on the drive back. I'm like, dude, this is out of this world. And for those of you that want to check out the YouTube, never fear. I'm not putting you through. I'm not going to say it's not a mukbang video. This is like, you see the food. I take a bite. It's a music montage. We're out. That's all you guys need. Good stuff. Oh my God, we got our newest patron in the house, Eli Self, right there. Look at that.
What's up, Eli?
Oh yeah.
I knew I was going to fit it in. Oh, Eli, how you doing, buddy? Good to have you on. Good to have you as part of the Jighead family. So Saturday was just awesome. I got home it was just after 8:00, and the inspiration to edit the video that I had taken. And I wasn't even sure that I was necessarily going to make a video while I was out there, but I was like, sure. I'm just going to erase the SD card that's in my GoPro. I'm like, nobody wants to see me get skunked on the Connecticut River. I'm like, let's just ditch all that. And then we'll go ahead and do this. And it worked out, dude. It was so good. So I edited the video. Everything is cool. I considered the idea of going fishing on Sunday morning. And there's a part of me that kind of wishes that I did maybe hit up Congamon Jr. or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, wait. I'm like, I've got nothing going on Monday. I'll go ahead and send that. Not knowing what the forecast was going to be like today. So I think I'm actually going to try and go out either tomorrow or Wednesday, get another day out, a few hours, something like that, just something local, but see what we can put together.
Oh yeah.
It was a good week. And actually I think it was after work last night, Sunday night, that I got the message from about our FTG this week. And actually, so let's go ahead and actually throw that out there. In the YouTube video, I mentioned, as I'm walking down to the ramp, an FTG, and I was like, well, there's an FTG right there in the wild. And that was my full intention, was to put this guy in here. This dude was parked in the ramp, all the way over to one side in the ramp. So his excuse would be like, you can still get your boat by me. Sure. There was that. He was parked there, but he was sitting on the side of his truck with multiple lines in the water, just sitting there fishing off the ramp. What a douche. But then I got this message, and I was like, that does not compare. Our FTG this week, which stands for Fuck That Guy, comes from a longtime listener, a longtime friend of the show, and it's awful, the shit that happened to him. We'll go through that. We'll get there when we get there. But yeah, man, it was kind of brutal. But I'm glad some fish were put in the boat. I think that's ultimately what matters.
Yep.
And here we are. Not a bad week.
Nope.
Not a bad week at all. Let's go ahead. Before we get into headlines, let's catch up with some of our jig heads right here. Todd Sefton says he threw that spinnerbait. Pretty nice. It is. It's Martin's. Like, you can't go wrong. The stuff is well constructed. It's absolutely badass. And I'll tell you what, like, there's a lot to be said about that downsized spinnerbait. There really, really is.
Yep.
It gets munched. So Eli's here, first time on live. Vidal is in the house. I love that. Oh, and what's this? Eli chimes in. Eli's got the inside juice on the Dark Horse tackle stuff. He says, Zek said that in April, Black Label Balsa will be one of the baits in the box. Really? Okay.
Interesting.
That'll be really interesting. Real good. I don't know. Why don't you want to jump into headlines now, Joe?
Let's do it.
Cover some of that. Because you said one of these is going to potentially start a good discussion.
Both of them are, I think.
All right.
All right, Bobby, let's call this the 2025 Jigs and Bigs Bassmaster Classic recap.
Okay. All right. Let's do that.
Let's talk the
was
classic
interesting
for
if
a
we were
minute.
going to be talking about the classic. Okay.
Yeah, we got to. So,
Yep.
for those of you who don't know, the Bassmaster Classic is essentially like the Super Bowl of bass fishing.
Yep.
And so yesterday, Easton Fothergill pulled out an amazing win at the 2025 Bass Pro Shops Bassmaster Classic on Lake Ray Roberts in Texas over the weekend. He is the second youngest angler to ever take home the Ray Scott Trophy and the $300,000 in prize money that came with it. And he did it with a record 3-day total of 15 bass for 76 pounds.
All right.
76 pounds, 15 ounces, which now stands as the record for the biggest winning bag in the Bassmaster Classic's 55-year history. Fothergill's total didn't just edge out the next best classic total, Stanley Mitchell 1981, but he did it by 8.5 pounds. His achievement also made the move momentous in the context of his personal life. He had a brush with death about 2 years ago when a serious medical condition required him to undergo brain surgery. And I don't know, I kind of remember, I want to say you and I had talked about this a couple years ago.
Maybe.
Yeah. So his indescribable, it's indescribable the trajectory of my life since that first bad moment, Fothergill told Bassmaster.com. Everything has come true that I've ever wanted. It's pretty crazy. Fothergill confidently switched spots and techniques every day of the tournament, as day one was extremely windy, day two was calm, and the big championship Sunday was a mix. Plus rising temps kick-started the spawn on Ray Roberts. Bass moved towards shallower water and far I'm so sorry guys today. Far and wide across the 23,950 acre lake. 80% of my catches this week came on a 3/32 ounce Nico rig. He said, and I caught a couple on a off-white jerkbait too, but I had confidence in the Nico in that slightly stained water. So he just kind of goes a little bit further in talking about that. But congratulations to Easton Fothergill, the young buck, winning the Bassmaster Classic. And a couple offshoots to this story. One, I don't know. Did you follow any of the Classic this year?
Not super closely. Mainly through social stuff that I would catch.
Okay, so, for those of the show, Bobby and I both are big fans of Ben Milliken.
Yep.
And he was sitting, I think, in 39th place after day one, only caught 2 fish, and then went in and absolutely put on a show on Saturday.
I did catch that, yeah.
Getting, I think it was, he got 26 pounds and some change on Saturday, boosted him up to 13th place from 38th. So he got to fish championship Sunday, and I believe at the end he finished 15th.
Yep.
So good on him for making that crazy comeback.
Unbelievable comeback. Yeah, that's awesome.
Unbelievable comeback. And lastly, on the classic, the fishing portion, congratulations to somebody that Bobby and I know personally, Andrew Hayes.
Oh yeah,
on our friend Andrew Hayes from the Tackle Talk podcast. Was a surprise commentator for the classic.
He was. Yep.
On Bassmaster Live. So it was really cool to see him on there. I sent Bobby a text. I was like, "Are you seeing this shit right now?" And so yeah, it was good. And yeah, that's the bad. Just a congrats to.
Oh yeah, he did. He did so unbelievably good. And it's what I'll tell you what. I also want to say good on Bassmaster, legitimately, because I think them having one of our peers, you know what I mean, from this,
it was incredible.
That is amazing. So good on Bassmaster for acknowledging that hey, you know what, this corner of the fishing world has, some substance to it. And Andrew puts out an amazing product anyway, but he's also a genuine fan of this. He was the right, they did everything right with that. So
he does it for all the right reasons.
Yes, 100%.
He's not doing it to get camera time, which he did, which was awesome.
Oh yeah.
And it was super humbling, for a person like me who's had pretty good conversations with him in person down in Columbus, to see him on there, which was and he had that nice new fresh haircut.
Always does. He has the nicest.
Dude, he didn't have the sweep over anymore. He chopped it off, buzz cutted that shit.
No shit.
Yeah, but yeah. So congrats to Andrew on that. And I got one more story.
I'm curious. Okay.
So this also kind of little Bassmaster Classic oriented. We're gonna talk missile baits for a second.
Okay.
But not for the reason that you're going to think.
Oh, yeah.
So, Missile Baits is debuting the all-new Shredder and Shredder Junior soft plastic baits and selling a custom-run crazy chrome color of the spunk shad. Right? So, we're going to talk the Shredder.
Let's talk
about
the Shredder.
The Shredders are a cross between a hair jig and fuzzy dice, which is a design collaboration with Fish or Die Bait Company.
Yep, awesome, dude.
So that bait I've had to keep secret for the last 8 months. Finally, it was a collaboration this whole time with with Missile Baits and John Cruz personally, between John Cruz and Taylor.
That's so fucking cool.
And that's and I've been honored to get the invite down to ICAST with Taylor and John, with Missile Baits and stuff. So I'll be doing that and can't wait for that. Super humbled and thankful that I got that invite. But let's talk about this thing really quick. So just this is how they announced it. So the Shredders are a functional fuzzy dice type bait. The 4-inch is going to be flipped a lot, and the 2.5 is a nasty on a drop shot. But both can be used in so many ways. We will show the world the Shredders at the Classic, which will be a wild time with exclusive crazy chrome spunk shads as well. So. Have you seen these, Bobby, in person? Have you seen pictures of them?
Actually, I'm grabbing one right now so that we can show it to the jig heads and they can see.
So I had the honor of seeing this bait start from a scribble on a piece of paper to what it is now.
Freaking crazy, man.
Yeah. And it's, and awesome on Missile Baits for kind of being like, yo, we want it. We want in on this. Seeing the potential of this bait and being like, yo, we want in on this.
I am not sure if. Oh no, it's the spunk shad that I'm thinking of. That they've done this in the past where there's a bait.
They've done it with RoboWorm.
And that's Missile Baits too. Yeah,
Missile Baits is awesome with this. Did you find it, Bobby? I could share my. Okay,
I found it. I'm gonna put an image file up right here, and there we go. So this picture right here is actually showing the spunk shad. And the Shredder. The Shredder is the green pumpkin one, the one on the two on the right.
Yep.
I didn't realize they were making such a downsized one.
So that came after the fact.
Oh,
that the bigger one there was the original.
Yep.
And John was like, "Hey Taylor, can we do a smaller one?" And this actually, so this was actually a John. So I'm gonna talk. Hopefully Taylor's okay with this, but so. I'm moving my cursor like you could see it. So you see so behind the head, it almost looks like a tube.
Yes.
In between the hairs there.
Yep.
So that was an afterthought as well to be able to Texas. So it was before it was basically just the head and then just the rubber. The tube came after the fact here.
Oh, okay.
That was actually a John Cruz like, hey, like Taylor, can we put that tube in there? Which, you know, is a good idea. It was a pain in the neck for Taylor to kind of figure it out, but he did it because Taylor's a friggin' mastermind with this stuff. So, you know, so he did this. So now it could be like, you know, Texas rigged and you know, things of that nature. Flip. That's where like the flip in this thing. And then, you know, the same thing with the smaller version there that, you know, that can be, you know, Demiki rigged, whatever, drop shotted, everything. So that's the shredder. That's the one I've been having to keep secret with for forever.
Have you fished it yet?
I have not. I had my hands on a prototype. I do not have the final.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. So the ones I had my hand on didn't have this tube.
No kidding. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
That's
so
crazy.
I gotta get my hands on that. It is so the first run of them. I know this at least the first run, and I don't think I'm not gonna start talking like the numbers of bags or anything like that because I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. But I know the first run is strictly, you know, they're gonna be in Missile Baits bags.
Yep.
I don't know what's going to happen after that, but you know, it's Missile Baits with a collaboration of Fish and I Bait Company. So,
and the beauty of it is that like Missile Baits has so much more distribution and availability. Like this is a really, really good thing for
so
Fish
Taylor had to drive the mold down to Alabama to their actual factory.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yep. So that's the shredder, right?
I think I remember you telling me something about Taylor headed down south or something like that. And okay, now it makes sense. That's so cool, buddy.
So Taylor from Fish or Die is an absolute mastermind. And another news thing, now that we're on Fish or Die, I was just texting Taylor. There's another new bait coming out. And I think I gave you a little preview of that one, Bobby. Mm-hmm. It's called the Shiv. It's another new bait coming out by Fish or Die in the next couple weeks. You know, there's bait, essentially they're starting to pour it right now and everything. But this is basically built for forward-facing sonar. Yep. For all you haters, by the way, the Bassmaster Classic, like, oh, it was won by forward-facing sonar and it's ruining the sport and whatnot. Oh my God, shut the fuck up! I'm so sick of hearing it. It's all the people. It's all Monday morning quarterbacks who can no longer fish the tours because they're not good enough, but are going to sit there and bitch from the back seat about how the tournaments are being fished now. That's all I'm going to say about it. If you're not out there,
Randy.
Yeah, seriously, Uncle Randy, I love you, I respect you. Shut the fuck up about the forward-facing sonar.
Go
shit.
do another full nude spread, Uncle Randy. Come on.
Oh my God. So anyway, so the Shiv is another bait coming out by Fish and Die Bait Company. It's going to be awesome.
I love the name.
I know. Yeah, that's a good one. And you'll kind of see why when it comes out, but it's very eccentric to forward-facing sonar and seeing it on there with certain rig types. I'm not going to give it all away yet, but I'm sure I'll talk more about it next week.
Do you have a picture of it, or because I did a Google search? Oh, it's that.
I can't
fresh.
show. Yeah, I can't show pictures of that yet.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll share it with you, Bobby, because you're my dude. I think
fair enough.
Yeah, but outside of that, I gotta wait. Wait.
That's fair.
It's not released yet, but
Eli goes, I zoned out. What the heck just happened?
Just go watch Uncle Randy's newest fucking videos.
Yeah, it's just complaining about like, oh, the Bassmaster Classic was won on forward-facing sonar. I'm telling you, this sport's gone to fucking shit.
Yeah, it's just Uncle Randy talking about all of his videos now are just bitching about forward-facing sonar. It's nothing new. Oh yeah.
No, Randy Blockett did like a nude spread for like a magazine or some shit. Like, I don't know, years ago.
Yeah, years and years ago.
Yeah, and so like that's what I was referring to, Eli. I'm glad Eli gets us to fucking regurgitate some of this stuff in case there was a listener that missed it or was like, it's a good thing they didn't say that when my boss walked by.
Shit.
Yeah.
Oh, what the fuck was that?
So yeah, that's the news for this week, Bobby.
Fucking hey, dude, that's awesome. I would say segment 1 an absolute home run, but in our next segment, guys, we have it's going to be a roller coaster ride of emotion and knowledge. Get ready. More Jigs and Bigs coming up in just a bit. Don't go too far.
And perhaps play a little game called Just the Tip. Just for a second, just to see how it feels. Or, ouch, ouch, you're on my hair.
Okay.
All right, guys. This week in our little Just the Tip segment here, we're going to give you guys a little bit of a tip here. This goes for a specific type of fishing outing, and it goes back to the week that I just had, which often is the case when it comes to Just the Tip. But in that, if you remember from the previous segment, I went over telling you about how my buddy and I were throwing more calculated choices in baits. I had been getting bit on a particular style, and I basically, we experimented a little bit. We had a little experiment, and then we decided that we would throw 2 different sizes of the same color plastic to see if there was anything to was it primarily the color? Could we get a better quality fish with a different size? Were they just honing in on specifically the 3-inch versus the 3.5-inch swim bait? What was it? And there's a lot of power that kind of comes with doing that. You can kind of work more efficiently. And the tip is this: and I know we've actually said this before on the show, but I think it's something that often gets overlooked. When you're fishing and it's not like a competitive situation, you know what I mean? And you're going out and you have 2 people in a boat, or 2 people that are out together on kayaks, or even if you're fishing the bank together, check in with one another with what the other one is throwing so that you guys can most effectively figure out a bite if there is some sort of a pattern. So what I mean by that is, like, if you're both throwing, let's say one of you is throwing moving baits and somebody else is like dragging a jig, something like that, that will help you determine, like, are they chasing or are they closer knit to the bottom? Where are they orienting here? If you're both going to throw moving baits, throw different presentations. So maybe throw something that's, change a variable is what I'm getting at here. So if you're throwing a moving bait and somebody's throwing a bladed jig, maybe have the other person throw a swim bait that's a little bit more subtle, or a fluke, something like that, where you can stop, and think about it and check in back and forth. Whenever you make a bait change, say, hey, I'm changing to this. And same thing can go for the other characteristics or the other variables, your size presentation, your colors. Pay attention to these details, and then when you get on a bite on one, don't be so, I guess, overconfident in your own bait choice, or feel as if you can't be throwing the same thing because it's working. What I'm saying is, like, work as a team, work together, find that bite, and then make that trip the best that it can be. And I genuinely do think that had Paul and I decided to stay out for another 2.5 hours until the sun started going down, I think we probably each would have put more fish in the boat. I genuinely do. I think that we made the call to leave the water. And I feel like if I get it, if you're fishing, even if you're on the same boat and you have a friendly competition, I understand why this would not apply. Go ahead, you're at ends with each other and you're competing against one another. But if you're out just catching fish, having a good time, and it's a social thing, something like that, always check into what the other person is throwing and pay attention to the variables that are in order. And then if you can, dial it down to figure out, like, okay, so let's try and identify this a little bit more and try and, and work with the variables. I would say like it seems like junk fishing, but really, if anything, it's more like organized junk fishing, you know?
Right.
So that's just the tip for this week. It's like, you know, when you're out there and you're getting it done, don't be afraid to check in with one another, you know, especially like if you're not competing or anything, you're just fishing for the sake of fishing. I hate the phrase, but if you're fun fishing, it's a great way to figure it out and get on them. Good shit. How about you, Joe? You got anything you want to throw in there?
Yeah, no, I think you said it good. Like, you know, this is something that, you know, I've run into for partner tournaments and stuff like that. And, you know, like you said, we always start with something different, but if someone starts, you know, smashing them on one thing, that's when, especially if we're working together, that's when, you know, both of us might throw the same profile or whatever, maybe just in a different color. You know, obviously we're working together and want to catch the most fish possible. I mean, that's the same thing. You know, I have that tournament next month down in Georgia with Taylor.
Yep. Yeah.
You know, we'll be throwing different stuff to kind of see what's working and, you know, kind of go from there, you know, and that's how you switch it up. You know, it's the ability to be, you know, throwing two different profiles at one time to kind of see what the fish are looking for. So,
and, you know, I mean, that's not to say that like a technical like approach of that angler doesn't play a role. You know what I'm saying? Like sure, that's one of the other variables, and sometimes that's what it's going to come down to. But dude, I'm excited for when you do that trip to Georgia. I'm excited to hear.
Pumped.
Yeah,
I'm so pumped.
That's going to be a freaking really.
I'm
good
not
time.
pumped for the ride. I'm not pumped for the ride.
No, it's a long ride.
It's going to be like 20 hours, something like that. So I'm going to split it up into 2 days.
There you go. That's the way to do it. Oh, man. All right. This is going to be a very big change in the tone of this show. Buckle up.
Fuck that guy. Fuck that guy. Fuck that guy.
So this DM, and I've very rarely taken FTG via DMs, but I'm making an exception here because this is ridiculous. And I genuinely feel for the dude. Like it's terrible. So I get this DM from Ryan Stager, and Ryan is a longtime listener. He's been in the Jigs and Bigs-averse for a long time. You know, he's competed in the tournament series and all that stuff. And I think I want to say I thought I just spoke to Sean last week, and I want to say that he fished with Ryan like recently, or maybe I'm confusing. Maybe I'm confusing who he was out with, but. Anyway, Ryan messages me and he goes, "Hey, Bobby, got an FTG for you. Also, there is a good awareness bit for local kayak anglers." He says, "My Hobie PA12 was stolen from my shed last night. Apparently, the criminals have figured out that they're worth money. Don't leave your shit outside the night before you go fishing. Learn the hard way." My response, of course, was like, "Oh my God, man, that's fucking horrible." And he says, "Yep." He says, "Hopefully it won't happen to anybody else." He goes, "I never thought somebody would steal a kayak." And man, I'm going to tell you, like where I live in Massachusetts, like just to put it as like an example, my daughters, they have had all except for one of their bikes stolen right out of the driveway. Granted, because they leave them out front and they don't put them where they're supposed to go. Like that's just like the way that it works. You know, a PA12 is not a light kayak. Like people think like it's a kayak. You just grab it and throw it in the back of the truck. A kayak like that, especially if it's fully rigged, is not something you're grabbing and throwing anywhere. You know, it's relatively large. So like. You would think it would stay put, you know, if it was like on a trailer or, you know, if you take your kayak, you know, there are a lot of people that leave their kayaks outside. And it's fucking terrible, man.
What area is he from?
I'm not 100% sure where he's from. I think he is in Massachusetts. I think he's actually in your area.
So, dude, I wouldn't doubt that. But you know what, dude? The fishing community is smaller than you'd think, especially the kayak fishing community.
Oh yeah.
So if he's listening to this, please send Bobby and I a photo of that kayak if you have it.
Oh yeah.
Bobby and I are on the water all the time. We will share it. We will send it out there because guess what? it's that kayak's going to be seen again. It's not like a car where you can just like part it out or something like that. If they try to sell that thing, or if they take it out in the water, especially locally, someone's going to notice it. The people are going to be on the lookout. Someone's going to notice it. So I urge you, please send me the picture via DM on Instagram or whatever. I do the same for Bobby. We'll at least get the photo out there, and let's get that kayak. Try to get that kayak back for this guy.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah, that's an excellent idea. John Carter nails it. He says, great idea, Joe. That is a great idea. So yeah, we'll go ahead, and I'm sure he's probably already got pictures all over his Instagram, like in the kayak and stuff. But if he's got something that's like a third person shot of the whole thing, that would be really helpful. Yeah. I just can't imagine getting up like to fish that morning and being like, my fucking boat's gone.
I can't even believe that, dude.
That's insane to me.
Because it's not like, you and I, our boats someone hooks up to our boats for some reason, takes off. They're insured. You know what I mean? It's different for a kayak. The kayaks, the dude probably could have up to, like you were saying, could have up to 10 grand put in this thing. They're not insured. You know what I mean? So that's basically $10,000 that he has to eat, and it shouldn't be that way. Nothing I hate more than an effing thief, dude.
Oh, it's the worst, man. It is
nothing I hate more than a thief.
And like, if you, I would say this much: if you're listening to the show and you're shopping for a kayak and you buy a used PA 12, Hobie PA 12, be aware that like, if somebody sees it, they might approach you. You might want to find out who got this kayak or how they got it.
Yeah.
Just as a 100%. Heads up. Yeah, because it would be fucking awful if you went on Facebook Marketplace and bought this completely unknowing. And we're like, oh, I'm gonna, this is a bargain. I'm gonna buy this. It's fully rigged. Oh my God. And buy it totally unknowing. And then, that would fucking suck. And then some rabid Jigs and Bigs listener is like, hey, I know where that kayak's from,
Yeah.
I hope he has a serial number.
Yeah, and of course, I just go on Facebook Marketplace. There's actually a couple
PA12s.
There's one PA12 up in Fitchburg.
Okay.
Dang, I wish I could have. Was it on a trailer?
I don't know that it was on a trailer.
Oh yeah, we gotta try to get some info.
It's a green one. Here you go.
Okay, yeah, this one's blue. Yeah, so dude, reach out to us. Reach out to Bobby and I both. We'll get the pictures of that thing out there. I'm one of those weirdos that when I have free time, I just randomly go on a marketplace. So I will continue to go on marketplace because guess what? Chances are a fisherman didn't steal your. I would highly doubt as a fisherman, because a fisherman's going to be. It wouldn't be stupid enough to fish it around here after he steals it.
I think they would know a little bit better than to. They're like, oh shit, word's going to get around. And
so you got probably some fucking crack addict and whatever meth or heroin addict fucking trying to sell the thing for like $25.
Likely a juggalo.
Yeah. So. Cool. Yeah, get that photo to us.
Shitty, man.
Go from there.
Shitty. Yep. That's freaking terrible. But so now to flip this, it's this. I told you this segment was going to be a roller coaster of emotions, 100%.
Oh, put an air tag on it. That's smart.
Oh, that's a really good idea.
Yep.
That's a really good idea. I never even fucking thought about that.
Air tag on a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's smart.
Yep.
For as long as it lasts, that's a great idea.
I got one sewn into my daughter's backpack at school.
Oh yeah, of course. That's a smart idea for sure. For sure. Let's go. Yeah, Eli says they're selling it all at Pickle Park. Let's go ahead and now you said you got a gear of the week.
Let's talk gear.
I love it.
Let's talk gear,
okay,
Bobby.
gearheads, it's time to talk tools. Jigs and Bigs gear of the week.
All righty.
Okay, so last week we talked the BKK OCD hook box, right?
Yep, that's right.
So
that was a popular one too.
I kind of got two different things at the same time when I bought that. I also bought the NACO tungsten weight kit, the 350 piece.
Oh, that's fucking huge.
It's expensive.
Yeah.
However, It's a hell of a lot cheaper than buying them individually. You pay right around $1 a weight, and that sounds like a lot. It is not with tungsten.
No.
It is not with tungsten. So yeah, I got that NACO kit. So pros and cons. Pros.
Okay.
There are some cons. Only because I'm a lazy piece of shit. So pro being, dude, it's so much tungsten. It's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous amount of tungsten that's going to last me literally for years. It is $399. It is a lot. And if you think about it, I've been thinking about hitting the button on this for a while.
Yep.
But you're like, oh, for fucking weights, $400. It is worth it in the aspect of how expensive tungsten is. What you guys have to understand, if you use lead weights, this does not make sense for you. I'm going to be 100% honest. This does not make sense for you. People like Bobby and I legally have to use tungsten here in Massachusetts for these types of weights. And I'm kind of bougie, and I like tungsten. I feel like I feel it a lot better on the bottom. We've talked about it a million times on the show, so we don't have to go down that road.
So yeah, let's talk about it. I'm interested.
So I will just give you like a little. Let me go to the 350 piece kit here. So all right, so tungsten worm weights. You have 20, 40, 60, 70 of those from an 1/8 ounce to a 1/2 ounce for the tungsten worm. So 70 weights. Flipping weights, tungsten flipping weights. You have 50, 70, 90, 104 pieces, 104 tungsten flipping weights. Those go from 3/16 ounce to a 1 1/4 ounce.
Oh, that's nice. That's a good window.
It is. Skinny drop shot weights. You get 40 of those from an 1/8 to a 1/2 ounce.
Oh, to a 1/2 ounce. That's awesome.
Drop, teardrop, same amount, same weights.
That's great.
Let me stop you there. So that is the one weight I have used so far.
The drop shot?
Maybe because I was using such a small drop shot leader, I had to tie them on. They have the slip ring on them.
Yeah.
And I tossed that thing. See you later. Came right off. So I had to tie those on, and that annoys me a little bit. I will be honest, that annoys me. I don't want to have to tie those things on.
What size leader do you use when you drop shot?
So that day I was using 6.
6? Okay.
Yeah.
I usually use 8, and it bites a little bit better. The very first time I ever used NACO weights, they were in like a bundle, and they were just the open loops, the circular ones, and you had to tie one. And I was kind of a hater in the beginning. I was like, oh, it's kind of a pain in the ass. There's a quick little knot that you can tie real fast. Like I don't know what you would even call it. It's like a salt water.
Yeah. Once I did it like the smallest bullshit half-ass knot, it was fine. Yeah. It was fine.
Yeah.
It was just like I didn't think of it. Like usually when I do use new weights with the slip rings, I will check them, and I didn't this one. And I was like, I just saw that fucking, and it was a 1/2 ounce, or was it half? I think it was a 1/2 ounce because the wind was so bad. But so it's it does have barrel weights as well. You know, for you Carolina rig guys, it has like 36 pieces of that from a 1/4 ounce to 3/4. Then it has a ton of nail weights. 10, 20, 30, 40, That's 50, awesome. 60 nail weights from 1/64 ounce to an 1/8 ounce. I will be honest with you guys. I will use these, but you know where I get my nail weights from, Bobby?
Where?
My tungsten nail weights? Temu.
You get yours from Temu, huh? Mm-hmm. No shit.
I get so many of them at Temu.
Yeah.
Because I go through so many of them with my Nico rigs.
Yeah.
Because I love my Nico rigs. So, awesome amount of weights.
Oh, yeah.
Here's the cons. The box is a lot smaller than I liked. It's awesome because it's a very compact, small box.
Yeah.
I think that's the idea. For me, I figured it out. Like, it doesn't fit, like, I'm like OCD, and it didn't fit in like my storage trays like the way I wanted to, so I had to put it somewhere else. That bitch is heavy, dude. Like, small little box is so heavy with all this stuff. I'm like, is this thing gonna fail? They did not come in the box.
Oh, so you had to put it all together.
And not only that, they didn't even have it separated. Like, they didn't have the dividers in there. So, dude, it was like playing the worst game of Tetris ever until I finally was like, oh, let me look at the picture that they have on the website and I'll set it up that way.
Okay.
So, yeah, so I had to, and one thing I did see on there, a note, they said if, it's obviously all black tungsten, but if they don't have black in stock in a certain weight, they will send you what they have. So there is a couple that I have in red and a couple I have in like raw tungsten, which is fine, which is whatever. But yeah, so dude, it took me probably 2 hours to put this, like when I opened the package and it was all just the individual package weights that go into the
kind of crushed your soul a little bit.
It crushed my soul, dude. So it's like, Nico, if you guys are listening to this, trust me, people would love it a lot more if you put that thing together. BKK did it. That thing came set up, ready to go. Yeah. Jay, yes, Temu. I know I'm supporting China. But when you use as many nail weights as me, you got to go with the cheaper.
I mean,
you got to go with the cheaper option, man.
I'm like, what are they going to fail? Like, you know what I mean? They're weights.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Rack and brew.
I would say in all seriousness, I would say when it comes to like that box, I would probably, if I definitely see the value, especially like having like that much tungsten. If I had the money to burn, buying like that and just having all those sizes of everything.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, even it would be the same thing actually with that BKK box. With the NACO, however, I would probably take that box and use it for my bank bag. For like a small day box for that, not for terminal tackle, like for lures. I just use it as a box. And then I would take like a 3,700 box terminal box and I would just organize it that way with how, if I had to do that amount of work anyway, this way in the boat, it would sit everything, where I need it and everything else.
Yeah, that's smart. I should have did that.
With my boat, that NACO box would be better because I've got a little bit more limited storage. And these are just like giant fucking spots to put stuff.
Yep.
And dry boxes, dry bags. Dry bags have been huge.
Yep.
Love them.
And and guys, what you have to understand, think about, especially you guys that use tungsten, this box is going to last me years. There's going to be weights I'm going to have to spend a few bucks on to restock, but this box is going to last me years. So it was a $400 investment that's going to last me probably at a minimum 4 or 5 years.
And you will having this, what's nice is like, I feel like there's way more detriment to hooks getting rusty than weights getting blemished or anything like that.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. 100%.
This is a good purchase. It is.
It is. It's tough, but they do have 170. I went for the bigger one. They do have 170 piece.
Yep.
That one is $199.
Yeah.
So you do get a better value with the 350 by a little bit. But yeah. And I have another one for next week I'm excited to talk about.
I love that. NACO is an interesting brand. Obviously they're known for tungsten and everything, but they are a name in the BFS world. They do a lot with that. Yeah. And I mean, I've used a couple products and I like them.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Cause they got that, that's right. They have the flight feather.
Yep.
They have the D-Power finesse.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm looking at their BFS reels right now.
And they're
is that
good.
what you have?
No. I've got
okay. So these are actually pretty cheap. Their Formula D has a shitty rating, but their flight feathers have really good ratings. And they're cool looking reels.
They are good looking reels.
Yeah, it's weird. They go from like, tungsten to like BFS stuff. So it's a weird combination.
The reel from them that I like a lot is the Cormorant.
I don't even see that on
It's
here.
a Power BFS reel. It's like $249.
Yeah, they don't have it listed on here. Yeah. So that's That's it. That's
pretty
That's my
badass.
gear of the week. I got another good one for next week. Don't let me forget.
Yeah, I think that's a fantastic little purchase there, and combine that with the BK hooks, filled out hook box that they've got. It's a freaking home run, dude. It's a freaking home run. Let's go ahead. We're gonna take a short break, guys. We'll be back with more Jigs and Bigs coming up after this. Don't go too far. This sucker. Oh boy, what a good show. We got a lot of stuff going on here, and it's just there's wild stuff happening. During that little break, I did message Ryan about I did see that he has a post on Instagram where he is sharing some pictures of the kayak with a couple of specific marks, and he's got the VIN for that kayak listed in the post as well. So if you do see it, this is great. The potential of being able to find it is 100% there, and that's a good thing. If you're interested, you can check out the post. I'm going to leave that right here. I did message Ryan and ask him if it was cool if I could share this image, but he is rip_lips, and lips has a Z. rip_lips. Give him a follow. Check out that post if you can, and see keep your eyes peeled if you're local for that kayak. Let's go ahead and talk. Last week, Joe, we had this awesome little, I would say, a birth of a potential new segment here on the show. And it's not like we're reinventing the wheel or anything like that. This is like a mailbag or a listener engagement type segment, something along those lines. But like Jigs and Bigs does, and we've been doing now for nearly 5 years, we try to put our own little spin on it. And lots of times that will just come in a fun little name for the sake of making it catchy. Things like Just the Tip and FTG and Gear of the Week. And, some of these are really cut and dry. Last week's show, I had asked for folks to reach out with some names potentially so that we could run this and make it happen. I think what we're going to do is we're going to put a ballot out, and I'm going to share it with the jig heads, and I'm going to make a couple of select social posts where friends can go and check the ones that they like after you and I greenlight them. But I think I want to let this go for another week to get some more, because I'd like to get, if I could get about 20, we could call it the fucking list, and that'll be it. We'll have 20.
I like it.
So we're already off to a great start. We have 9 right now.
That's crazy.
And I am not going to, throw this out there like, I'm not going to out anybody. I do have the names of everybody who suggested them. Some people had suggested multiples, and if you're that creative, go for it. But Joe, I kind of want to get your reaction to some of these here. All right.
Okay. All right.
So one of these comes from a jig head, the Live Well. Okay. The Live Well.
Okay.
Maybe I should do them.
The Live Well.
Okay.
The next one, this one comes from another jig head, and
Uncle Frank's Fishy Sack.
All right.
We've got
The Beef Box.
Okay. Next one,
Jigging for Knowledge.
I like that.
Jigging for Knowledge. I kind of like. I kind of like that. I like that. We have
The Multi-Mailing System.
Okay.
The Slow Roast Segment.
Okay.
more on the beef. Okay. Oh,
The Beef Sack.
and this one came to us via a Spotify comment.
Oh, no shit.
Yep, that was from a Spotify comment, the beef sack. Then we've got
The Drop Shot.
and this is the latest one that we got. A jighead that I think is actually watching right now.
Beef Pickle Sack.
The beef pickle
Oh,
sack.
God.
And then somebody in there was just like, bring back the queef sound. Because there were a lot of people that were like using the word queef. And I'm like, I mean, I don't care. but I'm a piece of shit. You know what I mean? I was like, Joe's here trying to be a professional tournament angler. And I'm like, is this a good idea for us to go like, oh yeah, it's time
as
to
long
open
as I
the
don't
fucking
try to
mailbag. You know,
as long as I don't try to become a politician someday.
oh, gee, please don't. Please don't. Oh,
No
my
thanks.
God.
I got too much shit in my past that would come back and haunt me immediately.
Oh, it's never a good thing. It's never a good thing. So yeah, I mean, I think that's 9. We're off to a great start. You guys heard them all. And the best way to go ahead and reach out is to a couple of different ways. So the first one is you can always shoot us an email, jigsandbigs413@gmail.com. You can also go to on any of our social platforms. Facebook, we've gotten messages on. We've gotten a lot of messages on Instagram DM. People have sent us a bunch. And then you can also just text us. For those of you that aren't aware, Jigs and Bigs has a hotline. And this is for typically submitting an FTG segment, maybe doing a little shout out, maybe calling back something or asking us a question. And, like for this mailbag segment, this is a great place to do that because then we can use your audio. But the number there is 413-324-8519. You can text us right there, a suggestion. We're glad to take it and do something with it. Of course, if you're listening to the show on Spotify, just leave a comment on Spotify and we'll get a notification right away. We'll go ahead and we'll put you on the list. And I think what we'll do is you and I, Joe, will whittle down what's like a yay and a nay.
Yep.
What ones you were just like, hey, it's got to go. I don't know if it's best if we just take the ones that we unanimously both agree on. Maybe that might work best. And then whatever is on the poll, we'll submit that via a link to our jig heads initially, and then we'll put it out on like Instagram and Facebook with a clickable link so people can go ahead and weigh in. And whatever is the one that, we'll come up with some kind of a tiebreaker if we have to. Even if it's another poll, we'll just send it right out. We'll give it like 48 hours. And we'll come up with a name for this. In the meantime, you can also start submitting your questions for us. If you've got anything at all that you want to say, reach out and you want your voice to be heard, or you have a question that you kind of want us to answer this segment, and it's going to generally happen right here in this portion of the show. Go ahead and send us your stuff via all of those other methods, whether it's email, a social DM, or via the hotline. Get in touch with us. We'd love to engage. We're all about that. Speaking of engagement, we are like just about a week away from the kickoff of the 2025 multi-species scavenger hunt series.
Yes.
It happens April the 1st. We have registrations coming in. People are into this. People are excited. I'm very excited. And then, of course, in April on the 19th, we have our bass tournament. That's the slot limit tournament. So, folks, go ahead, get involved with that. It's going to be absolutely insanity. I'm excited for it, and it's just going to be a blast. So, this is kind of the way that I get to fish with a lot of you guys. I feel like we're directly involved in one thing. Even if we're not necessarily fishing the same bodies of water or the same parts of the country, we can at least sort of engage, having a good time competing in a friendly way. And I think that's going to be absolutely freaking awesome. There are a couple of comments in here from some of our jig heads that I think are pretty good. Eli says, he goes, now, keep in mind, Eli is a brand new jig head right here. He goes, this is weird, listening without all the commercials and everything else added in. Yeah, it is weird, Eli, 100%.
Yeah.
John says, he goes, slow roast segment makes it sound like a good segment to add. A segment where we clown local non-fishermen goes hand in hand with FTG. Oh, that might not be a bad idea. Slow roast. And that's kind of what I thought. I was like, that kind of sounds awesome, but we'll play around. Maybe we'll leave that one leave it warm on the back burner. The beef sack reminds me of Uncle Randy's full frontal. Yes. Let's see what we got. Let's go, baby. Todd says I got to sign up. Heading to Gatlinburg the first week of April. Oh, hell yeah, dude. There's some amazing trout fishing right in Gatlinburg, if I'm not mistaken. I may start at 12:01 just to celebrate. Fair enough. Might do urban trout fishing that Alex Rutter just did a video on. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking of. Exactly that same video. And then I love that, man. I love that. I think that's about going to do it for this week. So you got anything you want to throw in there, Joe?
No, man, that's about it. That's about it.
What a fantastic program. What a top-notch,
What a great show.
bunch of fishing content for you folks that are here looking to have yourself some fun. I do want to go ahead and mention to everybody, as always, keep tagging us in your fishing photos. You know spring is here when Alec Plotnikevich starts tagging Jigs and Bigs with like every good fish that he catches. And you know what? Don't ever change, Alec. I need you to keep that shit going. So when I'm having a rough week, I see that and I'm like, that's possible. That can happen. And now I'm going to go and make it happen. So he inspires the hell out of me. Good stuff, everybody. Appreciate you guys for coming out and checking out this week's show. As always, if you have a fishing friend who is unaware of the goodness that is Jigs and Bigs, please share our show with them. We appreciate that if you do. And as always, like we love those reviews and comments. So if you can engage with us in any way that you see fit, even with a question or anything, absolutely love it. Remember, jigsandbigs.com. We do have a full store full of a variety of merch. Jigs and Bigs stickers, hats, shirts, hoodies, you name it. Some custom, some humorous stuff, all kinds of good stuff. It all happens soon. And we're under a month out before St. Clair.
Yes.
Fucking A.
Yes.
I love it. You guys have yourselves a great one. We will see you with more Jigs and Bigs goodness 7 days from today. Like we always say,
Tits and ass, smoke some grass.
Perfect.
What a fucking show. What a fucking show.
What a show.
I'm gonna come. I'm gonna come.
You're not hearing it?
I'm gonna come. Jeff Bezos king.
numerous times. Came numerous times. Came numerous times. Came numerous times. Everybody's coming.
Oh, you guys are awesome. Eli says, again, this weird. Okay, you know, Eli, you're seeing how the sausage gets made. That's what it is. And then I do my magic and it comes out nice and polished. And that's what we're giving the jig heads is that, you know, let alone the engagement, but the ability to see your boy's face melting right off of him because he was a moron and we made choices earlier this afternoon. And Joe is ashamed and wants to go to bed.
No, I'm going to miss you guys until next week.
It's good.
Just all right.
Awesome. You guys have a good one.
You guys have a fantastic week.
There's trout behind the distillery. I'm fucking here for that. I love it. You guys have a good one. We'll see ya.
Let's see ya.
Peace. Alrighty, dude. I'll see ya. Oh.